being unapologetic does not mean that you're being inconsiderate and careless and ruthless and not being a kind person. Like, come on now, wake up. you know?
Yeah. Welcome to the Golden Age Goddess Podcast. We stand for peace, love, happiness, and abundance for all. Listen to your heart and soul's call, and we will encourage you to be bold, audacious, and devoted. Kim, Indigo, and Wind, helping you win by healing deep within. Only way to the Golden Age. Like, share, and subscribe today.
How can we show up in our convictions and in our truth while still being considerate of others? Because I do feel like there is a degree of just naturally, as just pure loving, beautiful human souls, we naturally want to please other human beings, but we should not be doing it at the expense of our soul, right? We should not be doing it at the expense of ourself. So
Yeah.
how can we kind of find like that healthy medium in between, like showing up unapologetically, but still being considerate of others? And I would say like knowing that thin line of like not crossing that ego boundary with being unapologetic, right?
Yeah.
I know that was a lot, but
What's what's coming up for me with this beautiful question is loving people. We can love people and we can have so much love and compassion for them, but we can also love people from afar. And I know that's been hard for me in my journey. I always want to love people and be with them, and even if they weren't good to me or if they were gossiping about me or were mean to me, I was like, oh, I have to forgive them because Jeshua taught us to love all and be free and be happy and have compassion for everyone, but not to your own. That this has been very hard for me in my journey, actually, because I have to learn the hard way in loving people from afar and having boundaries.
yeah.
So for me, it's like you can show up in your light and in your truth, but you can also love people from afar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense or if
That
I'm
makes a
trying to,
lot of sense.
yeah, like loving people from afar, because when somebody is so in their truth and in their conviction, even if it doesn't align with your truth and your conviction, you can still love them from afar.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
Because then if you try to argue with that person or try to get your point, that's just the ego running like crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I think it's standing in your truth, having that person stand in their truth, and like I said, loving from afar. I would say that's what's coming up for me.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Thanks.
You know what I thought about while you were saying that, which is basically the same thing, was how we mentioned earlier how people can have such a limited understanding. Some people, like in our family, and you may be in your truth in exploring your spirituality in a way that you see suitable for yourself, and they may demonize that or may not truly understand it completely, and still be limited in their own ways and their own thinking, that may come across as something that they wouldn't be interested in, right?
Yes.
And being in our truth and still showing up and being in our love and light is that we got to be unapologetic in that regardless, even if they understand it or not. And I've realized from my own personal experience with my family, I have an uncle who from very young was, very conscious and into Dr. Sebi and eating alkaline, didn't eat any meat, things like that. And in my Jamaican family, that was like, you don't eat no meat, you don't eat this, you don't eat that, And he would still show up, come and buy groceries, and make his own personal meal so that he was still, at the family functions be able to enjoy and commune with us, but just in his own way. And
Mhm.
that's him being unapologetic. He's like, I'm not going to conform for you or for the sake of my family. I'm going to still show up in my truth. And you can have some if you like as well. You know, come
Right.
try it, you know?
Right.
I love
And,
it. I love
yeah, and
it.
you know what's so interesting? People don't want you to show up in your authenticity, but all the while they're like, I'm not giving up the pork, I'm not giving up the chicken, I'm not giving up the beef for y'all. It's just like, okay, you do you. I'm gonna do me over
Yeah.
here.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
people have such a big issue. They think it's like mind blowing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
They
yeah.
want you to respect their choices, but a lot of times they're so triggered that
Mhm.
then they have to turn around and it's like they have to try to belittleize you or chastise you or try to again take you down a notch. And I dealt with that, plenty of times being plant based. But luckily, I like to clown back, so we can both clown each other. We can go ahead and do it. It's no problem.
Yes.
Yes.
So, also for me, and a personal experience is my experience just with like locking my hair in this way and doing more of like a free form lock, versus
Wow.
the traditional groomed. And when I spoke about it, like, oh, I like Bob Marley's locks. I would like mine to be similar to that. And people would think that I was crazy or maybe lost my mind or that they didn't really like the look of them, so they were kind of like projecting their views. And for me, it was like, when I get my locks, that's how it's gonna be. Sorry to tell you, but that's how it's gonna be. you know?
Yeah. And it looks so beautiful.
So
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a way to show up and be true to your soul, because I knew that by taking this journey with my locks this way was going to bring me on a deeper spiritual journey, and it has. And I'm not saying in any way that I'm like stuck or attached to my locks. Like I would never cut them or do anything other with my hair. But for right now, this is my journey and I'm very pleased with it. So, regardless of if it pleases others or not, I have to be unapologetic in that.
Yeah. It feels right to you. And again, it's beautiful. Like,
Right.
come on now. Open your eyes, y'all. What's there to say about this beauty? Okay. I love you too. So what I want to say really quick is like what's coming to me very strongly with like this perspective of people pleasing is we have to understand that like when we're being unapologetic, naturally the true human being, going back to our nature, we're going to have opposing views or different perspectives, but when we are really truly in a higher state of consciousness and our love and our light, we're seeking harmony, we're seeking peace, we're seeking respect for one another. And the way I feel about it is like, yeah, I'm going to please you in terms of like I'm always going to respect you, I'm always going to, and I also am going to be respected as well. And if I'm not going to be respected, then we're exiting stage left. Either I'm exiting stage left, you exit left, right, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. We're all going to respect each other, no matter what the opposing views are. Because at the end of the day, what matters is being loving, being in harmonious, and also realizing we're at, again, different levels of consciousness, different levels of understanding. And what I do also realize too is that certain truths can be a truth. However, it's still an unfolding in terms of like the infinite vast levels of consciousness and knowledge of the divine. So we may be, I don't want to say stuck on something. And I like what you mentioned, Indigo, about like your locks, like you're not attached to that. I'm learning not to be attached to any particular truth. I'm realizing that like at the end of the day, as long as I'm coming from a place of pure heartedness, seeking that love, seeking that harmony, seeking that understanding, seeking that respect, that's all that's required. And you also deserve that. And
Yes.
all of us deserve that in being unapologetic. And
yeah.
so being unapologetic does not mean that you're being inconsiderate and careless and ruthless and not not being a kind person. Like, come on now, wake up. you know,
Yes.
we're real. Yeah, no, like check yourself. All of us have to check ourselves plenty of times, and everybody needs to check themselves. No, it doesn't mean that, and it's about my truth versus your truth. It's not about any of that. It's about finding harmony and seeking harmony. And if somebody does not have the capacity for that, then you do have the right to set that boundary in your truth and say, you know what, this is not aligned for me. End of story. And we're separating ways, because not everybody's aligned. And what I also want to say too, back to what you were saying, Kim, kind of going back to the Jesus, the way people see Jesus as he is this unconditional loving. But what I also realize is that we've been fooled to think that Yeshua was like, people think that being forgiving means I tolerate any and everything, right?
Yep.
And there's a saying that's in the Bible. It says, don't cast pearls among swine, right? That's in the Bible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what that means is like, if you were to break that down, it's like when you think of pearls among swine, it's like people who are on that very low frequency, very low vibration. I'm not gonna allow that in my space and in my energy, and you can feel it. You can feel it. We're all being honest. If you're working on yourself enough and intuitive enough, you can feel when something does not feel like love. And a lot of times it's just open your eyes. You can see it. You can see how people are treating you and how they're disrespecting you. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, seek that harmony, seek that respect, seek that kindness, not only for others, but for yourself.
Yes.
Welcome to the Golden Age Goddess Podcast. We stand for peace, love, happiness, and abundance for all. Listen to your heart and soul's call, and we will encourage you to be bold, audacious, and devoted. Kim, Indigo, and Wind, helping you win by healing deep within. Only way to the Golden Age. Like, share, and subscribe today.